Well, hello and welcome, folks, to Global Racing League Round 5. Here we are at Redskogen Motor Center. We have an endurance race for tonight. Actually, super excited to see this one. We're going to have 2 pit stops in this race. And, of course, it's always going to be a very interesting race because it's rather difficult to pass here. You can absolutely burn up your tires, even though this is a very, very light car. You really can burn up those tires if you're not careful. So really curious to see who can maintain that pace for a little bit longer of a time period, and who's just gonna lose out at the end of the race, maybe some positions due to tires overheating them and overusing them. I'm gonna have to say the front left potentially, especially going down the hill. We saw one lap on board with Andres Navarro. Right here we got Blake Carvery going around the final corner. I'm actually going to bring a track map up real quick just so you can get an idea. Where is my track map? You can get an idea and pull down the weather of what is this track, what does it look like. So turn 1, turn 2, maybe we can even get a blimp view. Quite an interesting sequence of corners. It actually opens up, as you can see, throughout the length of it. So you punch it, it's really, really exciting. But this part here, where Blake's approaching, this is where the track gets super, super interesting. If we head into the chase view, you can see the elevation as you go down a hill, and it's a decreasing radius turn. Absolutely bloody mental. And then you go through these really tight S's, and being iRacing the way that it is, there's just an absolute heck of a lot of slowdowns in all of that spaces. They don't want you gaining any kind of extra time taking off track to gain an advantage, and so they've placed what they feel is the appropriate amount of slowdowns, which is honestly a lot, in that same little space there. So really interesting to see who's going to be acquiring those slowdowns. If you get 1, 2, 3 second slowdown, that's going to be bloody tough. That's all I gotta say. And being round 5, just to note, for anyone watching who's participated, not participate, whatever, whichever position you're in, you can actually look this up in the rulebook. If you are in Pro Division and you meet the criteria of one fastest lap within the race fastest lap, you can ask questions, but ask the admins. But if you meet the criteria, you can actually be placed back down into the amateur division. If you're in Pro Division, you feel you are unfairly placed into the Pro Division just by bad luck of whatever, just request a review by the admins and you can be placed back into that amateur division potentially. Case by case scenario on if it's approved or not to go racing back in the amateur division, but you never know. If you are in the Pro Division, you feel you're unfairly placed, just ask an admin and see what happens. So right now we have 9 minutes 20 seconds taken place so far in our qualifying. Ivanhoe is on pole just by a little bit. Oh my gosh, that is just a few hundredths. Just a few hundredths, not even a tenth between Andres and Ivan. This is going to be really, really close at the very front. I see that Brandon is not on our list yet, so I just have to add him in. Brandon, I have to add him on the fly into our standings and tell the world that he is, I think he's going to be an amateur driver if he's qualifying right there. I don't think he's going to finish this lap, and he will be at the amateur division class. And as you can see on the time tower, there is a green, there is a white. The green is going to be the pro drivers. The white will be the amateur drivers. There's a little bit of a mix, as you can see. Let's pull up Let's pull up our starting grid with basically our qualifying, because we're going to have an endurance race. Our grid, our qualifying, that is our grid. No reverse grid, no funny business this time around. So some drivers are going to like that. Some drivers may not like that as much. I guess we'll find out as the race goes on. Ivanhoe, congratulations for that pole position, lap 134.044. That is actually a really amazing lap. Especially given the condition of the track, which is quite hot. Andres Navarro, very, very close. So it's going to be tight all race. And Dylan Larson showing his pace, showing his space real early, qualifying in third. Franco Aguirre, he's gonna be to me the driver to watch. He is the guy who was the pit stop master in the last endurance race. Really curious to see how this one goes. Tom Peters is in fifth, Blake Carvery in sixth, Gary Otero, Vlad Sanchez, Brandon Lynn, Braden Valberg, welcome back, bud. Anthony Farmer, David Tuta, Thomas McLeod, Vincent Huang, Christian Rojas, and Milton Zuniga. So that now finishes our grid. It looks like everyone has hit the grid. I'm getting the lights in the middle of the screen, and the engines are revving up. We got 3, 4, 5, and they're off. Here we go, heading into turn 1. This being an endurance race, it's going to be a very important experience to get this turn right. No spins, cold tires, and here we go through that first corner. Throw those cars through that first corner, hit that curb. Don't want to spin going down the hill. This is going to be the really, really important corner as they head down that hill. I gotta say, this is probably going to be the most challenging turn on their entire race, coming up right here for everyone from the very front to the very back of this field. Everyone seems to be behaving fairly well, and right back to the very front of the field, these guys are going to be the pace setters. There's 4 cars very, very close together. You can see on the timing tower the drivers who have gained and then the drivers who have lost. Blake Carvey is down 9 positions, and you start to wonder, how did that one happen? There must be a little bit of a wiggle. We'll figure that one out later. Andres Navarro, he is challenging for the lead of the race really, really early. He says he wants to be the pace setter. Ivanhoe has given up that position. I think maybe not. He is fighting it back, and this is not a place that you want to go too wide. And Ivanhoe on the inside, shorter distance traveled, and the outside exit speed. Andres battling it out. These guys in an endurance race, this is a shocker for me. I gotta say, this is a shocker. Dylan up the inside of Ivan. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to run away if this is how they're gonna go for an entire 50 minutes. This is oh boy, good luck, guys, good luck. But you know what, it makes for some bloody exciting racing. And there goes Gary up the inside, a little bit of a spin after contact with, I think, Tom Peters, and he's gonna be a little bit in no man's land. Let's go back to the very front of the race, because Gary, he's spun, he's waiting for all the cars to pass him by, rightfully so, because you know what, you may have spun, but you don't want to make a mistake and take someone else and, you know, ruin another person's race. Absolutely not what we want to do here. Second lap, these tires are a little bit warmer, so they're going to be on the more predictable stage as they head through this downhill section, but maybe not for Blake Carvery. He is having, I think he's looking like he's on the struggle bus. He's down 8 positions, and that is a tough time for Blake Carvery out there. He previously last week won one of our races, and so, you know, it really could be a case of this is just not his track. This is a really tough track, I gotta say. Super technical. The elevation changes, I'm not sure if it's coming through on the broadcast exactly. I'm gonna see if I can get some good camera angles for it, but the elevation changes on this track are intense. Not at this particular moment, but I'll try to get a camera angle that will show it. It's really something else, I gotta say. Is Christian Rojas, he's made a pass, another pass on Braden Valberg, but is Braden Valberg going to be fighting back? I don't think so. And everyone is pretty much in contact with the drivers ahead. You can see as we head down the hill. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. There is the elevation drop. And there is the elevation drop as they're doing a decreasing radius turn. You can see even more elevation as they're trying to swing that car around. It's going light, it's going heavy, it's going light, it's going heavy. It's just an absolute mixed bag of emotions to those tires, to the balance of that car. And then as you finish that, you go through even more. See, there's a little bit of an elevation. Just, you know what, for me, it just warms my heart full of joy to try and drive through this track personally. Right there in the braking zone, a huge amount of force goes into those brakes because of that elevation change. Something's happened to, let's see, Milton has gone off track. Let's just take a quickie look. How did that one happen? He's going through the S's, thinking about a pass, and there is the, yeah, you can see the elevation right there and the difficulty that it causes for all of our drivers. And heading down the start finish straight, we have Andres. Is he gonna challenge for the lead of the race? No, Ivan is now in the lead of the race. Andres slotting back in behind Dylan Larson, giving him that space. We have Franco Aguirre. He is in 4th position with Tom Peters in 5th. So this is a very, very intense battle for the lead. You know, we have 5 minutes completed and 45 minutes to go, so that is not a short time by any means. Wow, that, look at this, decreasing radius turn around that mountain. Absolutely cool. I love that shot. Not too far back, not to be forgotten about, is Brandon Lynn. He's got, let me see, he's 3 positions up. He's 1.4 seconds back in the plaid MX5 car there. And then Vlad Sanchez 1.6. The draft in this car is quite strong. So at 1.5, as the bees are buzzing past that camera, that's a good shot for the elevation change into the braking zone as the cars compress under braking. That was the word that I was looking for earlier. It gives a lot more braking power. Real fun to feel that. Oh, and Blake going up the inside on Anthony Farmer. He's trying to gain some of those positions back. Gary Otero trying to follow him through. We have a little bit of a battle going on. It's a little further back for those drivers who feel like they should be a little bit further up. And there goes, oh! And there goes Anthony Farmer, a little bit of a spin. Thomas McLeod getting tangled up. That could be a little bit of damage. Luckily, we do have fast repairs in our race sessions. But the amount of time lost, ooh, his wheel does not look so good after that one. The amount of time lost after that, plus the damage, that is an unfortunate one. I wonder if that could have been avoided. Let's just take a quick look. That was tight. We got 4 cars here going through a section of track that is not very good at 2 wide, and oh, hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, unfortunate. You choose left, you choose right. Which way are you gonna go? And all of a sudden, it's just the wrong way. I think I had a little bit of a blink because it looks like Dylan dropped off my timing tower and then all of a sudden did not. So, but he's still out there, still very much out there. Here he is right there. I'm going to just quickly change the track map to position. You can see all the way back to P10. They are not that far back, so any mistakes, they can really make a huge impact on your race, because all the way back to P10, as I was saying, these guys are all in it. Not that far off. Even though it's 8 minutes in and you have 40 minutes to go, you know what? Anything can happen. You have 2 pit stops, and I'm going to be looking to this guy right here, Franco Aguirre. He's, I think I'm saying his name correctly this time round. But Franco last time was the pit stop master. I don't know how he did it. He just came out on top. And here we go. Andres Navarro going for the inside move down the hill. And he has now gained the lead on Ivanhoe. As we head through the S's, and here we go into turn number 8. A little further back, we got Blake Carvery and Gary Otero. Gary Otero making the pass up the inside on Blake. I think Gary says, I want to lead this pack back to those other cars, and he's taken a hold of that position up into P11. So at the very front of the race, there is Andres Navarro. He's into the lead of the race once again. Another pass. Where is this? David Tuta has made a pass, I think, on... Yeah, okay, let's take a look. How did that one happen? Because that was completely out of the camera view. Completely out of the camera view. How did this one happen? This is Christian Rojas. It looks like David Tuta made a boo-boo. Made a boo-boo, made a braking mistake, and that allowed Christian Rojas to go up the inside after you blow past that apex, and thank you very much is what Christian is saying right there. I guess perhaps they're teammates. You would assume so, given that they have the same paint job, right? But you know what? I think these guys are still battling each other as hard as anyone would against any random person or any friend. These guys go hard. That's what I gotta say. There's definitely a 3-car pack that has formed right here with Christian, David, and Braden. At the very lead of the race, it looks like Ivan is thinking about how does he get past. He wants to be that pace setter once again, and he has the likes of Dylan and Franco ready to pick up the scraps of anything that happens in place in front of him and take up some places. Dylan, he is not wanting to give up any space on track. I don't know. Dylan's being very, very aggressive, and let's see if it's gonna, let's see if it's gonna work for him, if it's not going to work for him. It's a bit of a rolling of dice. You be passive, and all of a sudden you can't win the race, or you be super aggressive. All of a sudden, similar actually. You don't win the race because you're in the barrier, in the wall, cause an accident, cause a crash. So what is it that you want to aim for, especially in a race with 50 minutes in time? Do you want to be aggressive? Do you want to be passive? And I'm sure that's the kind of thing that all of these drivers surely are thinking about in all of these moments. Dylan Larson, he is definitely thinking, be aggressive, be aggressive. Is that going to lose the draft to the leader of Andres Navarro? That is going to be a tough pill to swallow for Ivan. Ivan being our pole setter of this week, he is not going to want to give up that position. And you know what? If he doesn't, and that draft is lost to Andres, that is going to be a extra tough battle, time and pace to try and make up back to Andres. So he really has to give up that position, just as he just did there. How many times am I going to say just? He just has to give up that position and trust that Dylan Larson will not lose that draft. And it looks like Andres Navarro perhaps made some mistakes. How is it 2 cars behind him going too wide and he hasn't lost them? So, trust in Dylan Larson, I guess they say, and you may have some good results. Unfortunately for Andres, he has 4 other cars still very close in tow, and every one of them, don't get me wrong, they all have a draft here. The draft in this car is quite effective at this point in the race. Let's take a look who has the best laps so far. So here is everyone's fastest lap up on the screen right now. It can give a little bit of an idea of these drivers' general pace. Of course, you've got the front pack very, very close together. I think this is going to come down to pit strategy. They're all very close together for many, many reasons. They're all very fast drivers, of course. They're all in the pro division. And that draft effect, it really brings you together in a vacuum. The MX5 is one of the most exciting cars to drive for exactly that reason. Absolutely, absolutely thrilling. A little further back, it looks like Braden and David Tuta. Is Braden trying to find a way through? Who's faster on pace? Well, we know by the fastest lap up on our screen there on our timing tower, the pace goes to David. But who's taking care of those tires? Who is more consistent and able to set that pace over and over? I'm going to be leaning Braden Wahlberg on that one, given that he's all over the rear of David right here, right now. How long is David going to be able to hold this push off? Really not sure. So it's going to be super intense and interesting, really, to see. Is he going to be able to make a pass? He's now heading around. Let's call this a massive horseshoe of some sorts. This last corner as we head onto the start-finish straight. The longest straight on this track. He is super, super close. He's going to be able to choose the inside or the outside. Is David going to force him to one or the other? It looks like he is going to not make that pass here. And smartly so, in my opinion. The best place to pass is absolutely going down the hill. If you can snag that inside line, that is really where you want to be. That inside line is just that shortest distance travel. Is that exactly what's happening? Dylan Larson, shortest distance traveled round the outside for Andres and not able to hold on to the lead of the race. And guys, let's see that pass in replay. Here we go. This is exactly the best place. But oh, and it looks like Andres potentially making a mistake, I'm sure. So let's see what happens. So there is Dylan. Okay, so that was the pass for... Here we go. Here is the pass for P1. So Andres making a large mistake, going wide, and he is guaranteed going to be having a slowdown. He has to slow down just a little bit, and there we go. That is how Dylan has placed himself into the lead of this race. Andres, I don't think he's going to let that one go for too long. I guarantee you. Does he have goggles under his helmet? Am I seeing that right? Or are those cucumbers? What is that on Dylan's car? What is that? That's hilarious. That is amazing. So here's the turn 1, 2 chicane. I think that... Oh, Dylan's getting a great launch out of that turn 2. Is Andres going to get the run he wants going down the hill? I don't think so. I am just not convinced he's going to be able to get close enough. And so here we go down the hill, scrubbing those tires as they rotate that car. And into the decreasing radius turn we go. Now into the S's. Andres closer than ever. He does not want to let him get away at all. Just absolutely not at all. He is going to fill those mirrors left, right, and center. He's going to push it to the limit. Here we go. We're going to have a potential too wide into this braking zone as Andres going to go for it up the inside into the braking zone. Andres up the inside. Dylan's going to have to go a long way around, and there goes the pass for the lead. Is it over? It is not over yet. Here we go. Dylan is not giving up easy, and this is going to effectively slow that lead pack of cars and allow some other drivers such as Tom Peters to come back into the mix. Andres is going to have the outside, then the inside, and it's just these guys are side by side for corner after corner, and that's put Andres Navarro into the lead. But Ivanhoe, he is going to have a chance to get a run on Andres, and Dylan Larson, he is going to go too wide with Andres into turn 1. This is absolutely wild, absolutely mental. These guys are not backing down for an endurance race, 17 and a half minutes in. Ivan, he is going to have the inside line, potentially not, going down the hill through the decreasing radius corners. And it looks like Franco Aguirre, being patient as he always is, now has gained a position. He is up into third, 1 position gained. Ivanhoe 3 positions lost. That is intense. Dylan Larson now leading the charge at the very front. He's going to be now our current pace setter of this race. Look for Andres to either go for a pit stop. Oh, and Ivan making a pass there on Franco. He wants that spot back. He's not giving that one up. He wants that back. Look for Andres to potentially go for a pit stop. Franco go for a pit stop. Someone has to take a pit stop. Surely at some point they're gonna have to take pit stop. I think it's this lap or the next lap. We have some drivers that have now taken a pit stop. Let's see. Pit lap. There we go. Blake Carvery is the only driver so far to have taken a pit stop, and that was on lap 10. Looks like he's going for a little bit of an undercut. Is anyone else going to be taking the undercut? It looks like no so far. None of these guys want to give up that draft. I wonder if they're all going to come into the pits all together. And I'll be honest, that is absolute chaos. Here is Brandon Lynn coming into the pits and Vlad Sanchez coming into the pits. You know, I'll be honest, that is going to be absolutely chaos if they decide to all come into the pits at the very same time. It's really not going to work. I don't believe it's going to work, because you have all these cars competing for position, and if they come into the pits at the very same time, you know, and one guy is not perfect with his pit entry, you're gonna have a crash. I absolutely guarantee it. So hopefully, let's see if these guys hopefully pit off of the same laps of each other, but at this point my hopes aren't high. I'm sure the blood's boiling and it's really going for these guys, and they just don't want to stop. So down into the braking compression, and Andres really pushing those brakes to the very last millimeter. You can see I think he's overheating his tires, a little bit of a wiggle under braking. So there's going to be a few drivers who are pitting on lap 12. We got Brandon Lynn, Vlad Sanchez, and Anthony Farmer all pitting. So let's see if this lead pack, anyone chooses to come into the pits. Here is that moment that they would do that. There goes Dylan. And there is that pit entry. You can accelerate all the way from here to the yellow cones. I think Dylan brakes a little bit earlier, and is that going to hurt him, or are the other drivers going to be a little bit slower on that pit entry? We're going to have to find out as we go through our pit stops. Really, really curious to see. Dylan Larson now is running down the timing tower because, of course, he is in that pit lane. So here is a slower entry as well. So the time lost from a slow pit entry, say you take 1 second or 2 seconds. Let's just go with 1 second. We'll go with 1 second for this moment. You take 1 second longer going into that pit to that yellow cone, and now that car has passed you or either caught up to you. It can be a difference maker, you know? And on top of that, here we go. Ivanhoe up the inside of turn 8, and Andres has now lost 2 positions to Ivan and Franco. I think Andres' tires are absolutely hurting him, braking at the last possible moment, as we saw last lap just behind Dylan. His tires, his car is not his best friend. I think they're frenemies at this point. Ivanhoe looks like he's got some good pace. He's already broken free a little bit off of Franco. Franco, as I was saying, he's going to be the pit stop master to watch, potentially. That is my prediction. Currently at the moment, I think this is going to be the very last lap that they can go in. Andres, oh, and here we go. And that is the difference maker right there. Ivan potentially not as fast on that pit entry as Franco would have hoped, and there is that challenge where I want pit lane. Here we go. I think some drivers, Braden Wahlberg, still out on track. I'm not sure. That is some gasoline magic. And here's the other complexity of the pit stop is stopping at your pit stalls. And if you come into your pit stall and you are slow stopping, it's going to hurt you big time. Absolutely going to hurt you big time. And who's the first to leave? That is Thomas McLeod, I think. And who is going to be at the lead? Oh, I think that is Franco coming out first. Here we go. This is going to be a pit. This is going to be a drag race out of the pits. That is Franco around the outside. Andres Navarro on the inside. And there is the pit stop magic. Ivanhoe, he is way back. He is still at his pit stall. Looks like he had a speeding in the pits penalty. He is gonna be way back. That's 40 seconds stop and hold. That is gonna hurt his race big time. So then now that's put Franco Aguirre and Andres Navarro at the very front of our race. That is unfortunate. That's all I gotta say. That really hurts. That hurts. So Tom Peters, let's just take a look. So we have, at the very front of our race, we have Franco Aguirre and Andres Navarro fighting it out. So Ivanhoe is now out of the pits. We can see when everyone has taken a pit stop. So we can officially say everyone has cycled through their pit stop. This is where the endurance factor of this race really starts to come into play. You have to get your mind into that right frame of mind, really, where you do lap after lap, stay consistent, stay regular, keep focused. It's not always the easiest. You can see on the track map, a lot of these drivers have started to spread out from each other. Here's Franco and Andres. They're very clearly close together at the very front of the race. There's Tom Peters, Christian Rojas up 10 positions. Wow, absolutely amazing. Here is Brandon Lynn. He is up 4 positions. Vlad Sanchez directly behind. He is following his exhaust fumes in tow. David Tuta, he's coming around turn 2, heading down the hill. There is Blake Carvery. I'm going to just quickly go back up to the very front of the race and pull up on our timing tower. Where is it? Let me see. Cone to cone. Come on, where is pit lane time? There we go. There we go. That is the difference maker right there, folks. And that's how you know Dylan Larson, not just 1 speeding in the pits penalty, 2 speeding in the pits penalties. You can see Dylan Larson and Ivanhoe. About 40 seconds. So if you look at 58 seconds being the average, 58, 59 being the average pit stop times, pit lane times, you can see Ivanhoe, Dylan Larson, 40 seconds, stop and hold. But you know what? Anything can happen. There's still 1 more pit stop to go. You know what that means? Absolutely anybody on this list can receive that 40-second stop and hold. That can throw a huge wrench into the plans of any and all of these drivers. And that means this race is up for grabs to anyone. So never, ever give up. That's all I gotta say. Coming around turn 1, 2, we got Sour Patch Kids in the lead of Christian Rojas. Christian Rojas looks like he's had some real good pace. So that there you can see, just real quick before I pull it down, is the difference maker of why are some people ahead of others. Pit stop time, what a difference, right? Now I'm gonna just quickly pull up real quickly what is everyone's last lap. So we can see Tom Peters 137.2 and Christian Rojas a 135.9. That is a massive, incredibly massive difference of pace. At the very front, you can see also Franco Aguirre at 135.8 and Andres Navarro at 135.4. That is going to be a little bit of draft effect because these cars do have a lot of draft effect going on. So Andres, if he wants to make that pass, not only does he have to make that pass effectively, he also has to make sure he can lose the draft effect that is given to the car behind him so that he can't battle back and he also can't stay with him. So into turn 1, there goes Andres up the inside around turn 2. So Andres taking that chance. He wants to be the pace setter, get into the lead of the race as he goes down that hill. And we're going to just call it that hill because it is that hill. It's quite a spooky hill. Andres using all of the track. That may be a little bit of a loss for Franco to not use all of the track to the very outside before he starts turning in. Using all the track is just going to be always a huge advantage for any and all of the drivers, of course. Look at that elevation change, just lovely. This is going to be I think this may be a battle of whose tires are just doing better, because you can see Franco's last lap. I will pull down all of that so a little bit more visuals on what's happening, but you can see that their lap times are very, very similar. Ivanhoe setting the fastest lap of the race, the purple lap. Ooh, that is going to be a slowdown for Andres way out there. I think that's going to be a slowdown. I think we're going to have to find out. But anyways, that was close. Purple lap for Ivan way back. Dylan Larson let him go and is now just following in the wake. Here we go. You know what Franco is saying? I want to fight for the lead of the race. I don't believe that you can hold it. I want it. Into turn 1, turn 2, the inside shorter distance traveled by Franco, and he's going to have the inside primary line heading down the hill. Andres gives up the position. He concedes that spot to get that draft as he heads down the hill, very wisely so, because now he has a chance to make that pass back. Does he go for it? He decides to hold out. They're, of course, 5.6 seconds back to Tom Peters and Christian Rojas. And you know what? You don't want to battle too much to the point that all of a sudden Tom Pierce Christian are right up on their tailpipes. This is the worst possible thing that can happen. Brandon Lynn and Vlad Sanchez very much in a battle right here. If they battle too much, they're going to have David Tuta right in tow of their draft. The last thing that they want is to give that draft to David. They really don't. Here's Blake Carvery. He is down 2 positions total from where he qualified. And you know what? This may be a good opportunity to take a look. How did Blake go down so many positions? So here's the race start for Blake. As we head into the first corner off the race start for Blake. So that was the very first pass on Blake. Did he get a slowdown? And he did. And he did. And that was the reason that Blake lost so many of those positions. And that is really unfortunate. Yep. And that was the reason that Blake got so many positions lost on the very first lap. All those cars passing him by. So he's in recovery drive mindset at the current moment. He's 8 seconds back. And do I see Vlad Sanchez challenging for P5 going down the hill into the decreasing radius turn as the cars get light? Vlad Sanchez taking that position. The red roll bar is now up into 5th. Heading through the S's. So I do see Franco Aguirre and Andres have been duking it out. Let me see if this was, just by replay, the most recent pass. Yep. So this is where let's just take a quick look exactly how this battle unfolded. Just barely staying on track in the track limits. Franco getting that inside line, playing that absolutely perfect. Once overlap was lost, he took the rest of the track that he was entitled to. You can hear the pack of buzzing bees. Andres not able to get any kind of overlap as he goes into that corner, and that is the replay. And there you go, that is the replay. And what's happened to Andres Navarro? Entered pit lane. He's in pit. This is gonna get really interesting, folks. So Andres is taking his second pit stop. right now, he's in belief that he has the pace to win, and he's not going to take all of those battles anymore. He just wants to go out there on a clean track and set his times. Now, there's great things about that and also not great things about that. As you can see right there, he's coming out into traffic. So let's see if he's going to be able to make that happen. He also has now, I'm going to go back into the better camera view. He has Dylan Larson directly ahead of him. So Dylan Larson, is he going to realize that Andres has 2 pit stops under his belt and let him go and not battle him? Or is he going to battle him for P11? So that is the risk and the gamble that Andres has taken in this very moment. When you do an undercut and come in super early, you have to be very careful and understand exactly, if you can, where you're going to come out on track. When you come out behind slower cars, that luckily, very luckily, Dylan is a very fast car. They are on the same lap. Dylan, it looks like he's taken notice that it's the second pit stop for Andres, and they're at the same spot on the tracks, and lets him go. So very lucky for Andres that Dylan has noticed that. Otherwise, it could have been a huge, huge loss of time and lost him the race. So we're going to have to wait and find out if Franco at the very front is going to be able to hold on to his pace. Now, the challenge for Franco, and part of the reason that the undercut can also be so effective, is that when you're now at the very front, you're all alone. Look, he's got a 7.7 second gap. He's all alone. It's very easy to lose focus. Meanwhile, you got Andres at the very back. He's now chasing that carrot. In his mind, he is chasing that carrot so hard. He can almost taste it. He can smell that carrot. And it's going to really put a fire under his butt to keep that pace. Franco just doesn't have that. Just based off of situation, it's really, really challenging to be P1 in this moment, not know where your pit stop is going to put you in comparison to that guy that did the undercut. So that is currently the challenge for Franco Aguirre. And over to, what is wrong with this camera view? It's just right at a pit wall, like a wall. I don't like that. What is going on with that? Brandon Lynn, another pit stop taker for the second pit stop. Here he goes. And once all the pit stops are done, I am going to put up. So there you go. Now you can see. Now you can see who's done 1 pit stop and who has done 2. Now our overlay, it used to say stops with a number. Now it seems to say stops with an S at the end of stop. Thanks, SDK Gaming. Amazing. I don't know why they did that. Anyways, Gary Otero heading down the hill. He is covering off the inside line. He does not want Braden Wahlberg to make that pass. So this is going to be super intense racing. Who has the pace? Does Gary have the defense? Who has the tires? These guys have been driving for 37 minutes now. Let's be honest, that is quite a long time. These cars may be light, but they still will chew those tires. If you are rotating your car, you're pushing those braking zones, guaranteed you're not going to have a good time out there at the long run. So there we go. There is Braden Wahlberg up the inside, but who's going to have the inside in the very next corner? And there we go. There's Gary. Is the over-under? Not quite. Braden Wahlberg potentially getting a little bit frustrated behind Gary Otero, but that has a beautiful, fair defense. And that's actually one of the wonderful things about this track. Absolutely lovely. There is Blake Carvery. He's coming in for his second pit stop after his recovery drive. Let's see where he ends up. All those cars passing him by on that start-finish straight, of course. they still, most of them anyways, other than Andres, they have not done a second pit stop. Andres currently is the only one that's done his second pit stop. This is Anthony Farmer directly ahead. I think he is one lap down, so he's most likely going to yield the right of way to Andres. I think there it is right there. So Andres is going to go around the outside. Anthony Farmer is going to yield that position and allow him to go. So Dylan Larson, there was a few laps back, gave up that spot and let Andres go for tire purposes or race strategy. I'm not sure. So, and back to the very front, let's just talk about this for a little bit of a moment here. And I remember when I was talking about that challenge that Franco has to keep his mind in the game, to not lose any 10th or even seconds. Here he is 7.3, 7.4 seconds to Tom Peters. And now look at him, 6.8. And there is Christian Rojas as well, not far off. So 6.6, 6.7. So that right there is the challenge that these guys face. It's not easy, man. There is Vlad Sanchez. He's a little bit ahead of David Tuta coming on into the pits for the second pit stop. So that is going to be the second pit stop for these guys. As wow, we have a 3-car battle after 40 minutes of racing. Ivanhoe, after that huge loss in the pits for the first pit stop, he wants to gain back as many spots as possible. Andres Navarro, you can see with many stops. Ridiculous. Anyways, that's all we got. Sorry, folks. Andres with many stops is in the lead of all the people with stops. Franco Aguirre is going to be the other person that he'll be battling that out with. Everyone else is still on this first pit stop. There goes Ivanhoe round Breen Wahlberg through the S's. Hopefully he's not going to be getting any slowdowns. There's Breen Wahlberg and Gary Otero. Andres Navarro has now almost caught up to this battling pack that are a full pit stop down. So I'm really curious to see if this pit stop gamble has paid off. Maybe these guys are going to be coming in the pits. A lot of these other drivers are now coming into the pits. Let's take a look what pit stop time, pit lap. Here we go. So we're on lap 26, so now we can sort of take a look at who's going to be coming in and who's not. So these guys are still going around for one more time, I think, on the same tank of fuel. Lap 14 was the first time round that these guys went the very latest. So you would have to assume lap 28. You would have to assume lap 28 would be the final lap that these guys could go. And that puts Andres at a little bit of a disadvantage, missing an apex by a country mile into turn 1. But it does put him at a little bit of a disadvantage. Breen Wahlberg, is he trying to break the draft a little bit for himself because he does not want to make that pass? I'm not sure. But at the very front, you can see Tom Peters and Franco Aguirre. That gap has gone back to where it previously was at 7.2, 7.3. I love that sound of tires screeching as these drivers are going through all of those corners as fast as they can. And the sound of the buzzing engines, it's just music to my ears. Music to my ears. Andres Navarro, he is now 0.6 seconds behind Gary. Really curious to see what's going to happen right about now. There is Tom Peters. He's coming into the pits. He has taken his pit stop right here on lap 26, 27, I guess that is. So does that mean these other drivers are going to be coming in at the same time this lap? Let's find out. Let's see who is coming into the pits as they go around the final horseshoe. Ivan is not going in the pits. Braden is not going in the pits. There goes Gary. He does not want to deal with this battle, be with him and Andres. So there goes Gary into the pits. He is taking that pit stop nice and easy, being very conservative. There goes Christian. He's had 2 pit stops. You can see he's stopped on lap 25. Braden. So now we have 2 drivers, it looks like. 2, 3. I think 3 drivers. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 drivers who have not taken their pit stop yet, and that's why they're out so far ahead. So it's going to have to be this lap or the very next lap that they take their pit stops. Ivanhoe quite far back. He had a 40-second pit stop penalty, if you remember, and so now he's 36 seconds back. What does that mean? He's actually gained up almost 4 seconds of time in one single tank of fuel. One single regulated tank of fuel, I should say. And there goes Franco Gar into the pits. So this is going to be where is it? Andres Navarro is going to be the car to watch right here. He is heading into the hairpin. So Franco Gar, let's find out who's going to come out ahead, because Braden and Ivan, they are not in the same race. They're in a race of their own. So here is Franco Aguirre. Let's take a look. Here is Andres Navarro coming around that final corner. Is Franco going to be able to get moving? He's still sitting at his pit stop. This is going to be close. This is going to be super close. There goes Franco. He's not out of the pits yet. Andres Navarro, his pit stop strategy has taken the lead of this race, provisionally taken the lead of the race. There's Franco Aguirre. He is now out of the pits, and he's 1.8 seconds back. So that means Braden Wahlberg, who does not have a second pit stop yet and will need to pit, puts Andres Navarro in the lead. I have a notification actually real quick that Christian Rojas has crashed. Let's take a look. How has Christian crashed? Well, you know what? It could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. And on top of that, let's see. It looks like Andres Navarro and Franco, they are back together. Whew. So here we go. This is how Braden Wahlberg looks like he let Andres Navarro pass. He slowed him down quite a bit, and I think that it brought, yep, exactly. So it's actually brought all of that hard work down to a 1.2 second gap between Franco and Andres. So that's really made it quite interesting. There goes Braden Wahlberg into the pits, just as we were expecting. Tom Peters is in 3rd place, 5 seconds behind. He's not that far back. So that's going to be really interesting. Christian Rojas, who we saw have a little bit of a fumble, a little bit of a bumble. Let me see. He's right here. After that spin, he's had such great pace that he's been able to hold on to 4th position, even though he had that quite a large mistake, let's be honest. Spin and a fumble and a bumble. Where is Brandon Lynn? He's back into a battle. Once again, he's got David Tuta directly ahead of him. I actually want to take a look. Where does Braden Wahlberg come out? Braden Wahlberg is right behind Dylan Larson. Perhaps not right behind, but you know what? Let's go with it. Close enough, I think, right? Let's go through this field and see how everyone's doing. A bit of a health checkup. We've got Andres Navarro at the lead of the race, coming at us from Chile. Down south, this is you know what? This is almost the South American Racing League here. We got Franco Aguirre in 2nd place from Argentina. Then we got Tom Peters in 3rd place, currently 5.3 seconds back from the United States of America. Then we got Christian Rojas from Colombia in 4th place, just a little bit outside of that podium. Then we got Vlad Sanchez coming at us from United States. Not too far off is David Tuta. He is coming at us from Colombia. And then Brandon Lynn from Canada. Love it. Love it. I'm all about Canada. Yeah, baby. Then we got Ivanhoe after his 40-second stop and go. He's now up to 8th position after all of that hard work. What a great recovery, even though he's not where he wanted to be. Still a decent drive. Blake Carvery. Oh, and he's being challenged by Dylan Larson as we speak into turn 1. Is he going to give it up easy? Dylan really challenging those tires, under braking and breaking that overlap, but he is making those tires scream as he heads through turn 1 and 2. Is he going to be able to calm those things down and make on with his race? Blake Carvery, he is now down 4 positions. I wonder if one of those positions lost was due to the pit stop. Because I believe he was at one point ahead. Blake was ahead of Dylan and Ivan. So there is Braden Wahlberg. Hasn't raced too much this season. Welcome back. Hope you can race more. He's down in 1st position. I think this is his... I'm not sure if this is his first endurance race yet. I'm not sure. But... yeah, you know what? It's quite a race to come back to. There is Gary Otero, down 5 positions total. I think he's had a few spins and bins, and that's put him down into P12, quite far back from the average pack. Anthony Farmer, I think I've seen him have a spin or something as well, and that's put him quite far back. And then Thomas McLeod, consistency perhaps is his challenge. Focus, I don't know if it's a focus thing, it's just potentially a practice thing. But who knows? All we know, as we can see in our results, is consistency has been a challenge. It really always is for any and all drivers. There's many drivers who can go fast, put it together for a single lap, and now do that for 15 or 20 minutes. You know, it comes to the next level of testing yourself to try and do that for 50 minutes. 50! And here we are, I think we have one more lap. And here we are, this is actually the very final lap. Andres Navarro is in the lead of the race for the very final few corners, 1.3 seconds ahead of Franco Agar. I think we're going to see the very last lap right here. Is this going to be the race winner right here? I think so, as he comes across that start-finish line for the very final time. Andres Navarro taking that checkered flag. Congratulations, Andres Navarro. What a win, just barely ahead of Franco Agar. That is amazing drive from Andres Navarro. Wow, absolutely amazing. And there's Tom Peters coming across in 3rd, taking that final podium position, taking out Christian Rojas from that podium. Is he going to be able to make it? Oh my god, he almost didn't make it to that start finish line. Is David trying to push him across that start finish line? That is teamwork. That is teamwork, guys. Here we go. Oh Sour Patch Kids is a little sour about that one, eh? I love the Demolition Derby personally. I went to a lot of Demolition Derbies as a kid. Maybe not a lot, a few, enough that I know it's just absolutely a ton of fun to watch everyone just... It's just fun. If you haven't been to one, go to one, please. It's amazing. Anyways, where was I? So it looks like Christian Rojas nearly ran out of fuel, and that actually did allow Vlad Sanchez to make the pass up to P4 at the very end. Absolutely wild. That's all I gotta say. So Christian Rojas up 9 positions total by the end. He had 10 positions gained, but just unable to keep that last one. I think that Anthony Farmer, is he the last one on track? Is he... Oh, he's taken to the pits, and I'm not sure why. Anyways, and that will bring... Actually, before we go any further, I want to quickly take a look. Pit lane time. There we go. Okay, well, whatever. You know what? I screwed up because I didn't bring that up soon enough, but you can see that everyone's pit lane time was some was fast, some was slow. Why did Christian run out of fuel? Well, you can see pretty clearly right there why he ran out of fuel. Oh my gosh. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, so I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and do. Where is it? Here we go. Come on. Okay, get out of here. That looks hilarious. Where is my track map? See you later. There we go. Let's go through who are the winners of our race. Congratulations once again to Andres Navarro. Franco Aguirre put on a heck of a show to come into P2. Tom Peters in third position. Vlad Sanchez in fourth, coming across clutch at the end. Christian Rojas in fifth. David Tuta in sixth. Brandon Lynn in seventh. Blake Carvery, unfortunate slowdown at the very beginning, put him way further back than he wanted to be in P8. Dylan Larson, penalty for that pit stop. Ooh. Braden Wahlberg, great first race back. It's tough to come back in an endurance race. Ivan Ho, another pit stop blunder. Gary Otero, way back. I think he had a few mistakes. Same with Anthony Farmer in 13, Thomas McLeod, and Milton Zuniga. Just an unfortunate ending for him. And now I'm going to bring Tom Peters into the interview booth and let's see how he's doing. Hello, Tom. How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you doing tonight, Michael?
Pretty good. How you feeling after that?
Not too bad. I'll take third place there. There's some fast people up front, so the fact that I was able to hang with them for a little bit, I'm happy with the result.
Absolutely. And you know what? How was that? Driving the MX5 for 50 minutes around here. Was that intense? How was that?
It was. I practicing this track all week, and I could not keep a clean, like even a 15-minute race. So trying to stay focused for 50 minutes, it's tough. My brain goes scatter, and there was a couple cases where I almost lost it because I would lose focus. So I think the hardest part is just staying focused for 50 minutes.
Yeah, that first stint you had a lot of cars near you. It was a lot easier to chase that carrot. Did that help with your focus, do you find?
At times, I find that sometimes I'm looking too much at the car in front of me and not enough at like brake markers or where I should be adjusting my lines. So I think it helps at times to stay focused, and then at other times it's going to distract you as well. So, it's half dozen, six in the other hand. So who knows?
Absolutely. And you know what? Did you have any? Yeah, it's really challenging either way. And did you have any kind of idea or pit stop strategy or idea of what you were planning to do with the two pit stops when you were going to pit coming in, or were you going to just go on the fly?
For the most part, I was going to see if I could go as long as I could until I was on the last lap. There was my second pit stop. Christian was behind me for quite a bit, so I was going to try to do the opposite of what he wanted to do, just because we were right on top of each other, and I felt like we were each losing a little bit of pace what we had, just being stacked so closely. So for that one, I was just going to do the opposite of what he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like you had a great time. Glad to have you here in the interview booth. And yeah, I'm going to move you back over, but great final third position there. And yeah, congratulations on grabbing that final podium spot.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
Andres, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I won. Somehow.
How you feeling after that?
I know, pretty good. I was talking to Vlad, saying that I thought I had made a mistake in that second pit stop because I put 7 liters twice. So I thought I was going to go out of fuel, but it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I saw you come in really, really early for that second pit stop. Did you have a plan in mind for that? Was there a reason? Was it like pre-planned or was it in the moment, hey, I'm gonna try this?
So I had a plan, but I wanted to go in really early, but I was fighting, and the the lap I wanted to go in, I was on the inside. so I couldn't go into the pit lane. And then I just said like, whatever, I'm just going to pit with everyone else. And then after at the second pit stop, I was just so frustrated with the understeer. I was just driving badly, to be honest. But I was just frustrated and just said I want to try something and just went for it. But I wanted to put 11 liters and put 7. So
Wow. Wow. That is close. So you got really lucky. You came out just barely ahead of Franco and able to finish the race just barely.
yeah, I was pretty surprised, but yeah, it was fun. We had some pretty good fights. I don't know how the rest of the race go, but yeah, I had some clean fights.
I saw Ivan and Dylan both received a 40-second stop and go for pit lane speeding.
Oh, sucks. Yeah, someone didn't lower to first gear entering the pits, so
Oh
that was
yeah, you know
nice.
what? That's a great time to actually make that public service announcement. The MX5 pit speed limiter will just not work if you're in second gear. You must be only in first gear. You put it into second gear, it actually turns it off, and all of a sudden you speed. So for anyone who doesn't know that, well, you can thank us later.
That's exactly what happened. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna drag you back, and I guess
Thank you.
I'll see you later, and I'll be closing out the broadcast.
Bye bye.
And with that, that is the final interview, and that's actually a really good piece of information there, isn't it? To to not go into second gear. Imagine that. Anyways, here we go. This is the final race results up on your screen. I hope you all enjoyed the show. For those of you in the race, I hope you enjoyed it. For any of you watching back, I hope you loved it. I see. Congratulations, Andres, and thanks, Michael, for casting. Yeah, thanks. As I say, I hope you enjoy it. And that now concludes our race evening. Next week, I'm not sure what the race is, but you know what? I'll see you guys there anyways. Tuesday, same time. Have a good week, folks.
Baby, don't you know that when I'm smoking that cloud, got my head in plumes and clouds, you're the one I think of. Baby, don't you know that it's gonna go down when I hit the bottom now, you're the one I think of.
Boy, will you hit me up? I lost control. Will you help me? Love about a liquor, boy, will you hit me up? I lost control. Will you help me? I lost control.
Cause it really feels like I might be losing my grip. Oh yeah, I am. What you gonna say? What you gonna do when I lost control? We are lost. Yeah, we lost control. Yeah, we lost control.
Love about a liquor, boy, will you hit me up? I lost control. Will you help me? Love about a liquor, boy, will you hit me up? I lost control. Will you help me?